Oh, man, D23 was crazy, but at least now I get to make a really cool video talking about everything that I saw and everything that I loved about the parks panel. It was pretty good. No, I'm not opening the box today. Not today. Well, that was a crazy parks presentation, wasn't it? Jeez. That's a pretty good parks presentation, you know, that actually looks pretty cool, very exciting. This is actually shaping up to be a lot better than I thought. Oh my god, what is that? What is that? In Frontierland? You're filling in the what are you doing? Stop! Disney, stop, please, I'm begging you, please stop. D23 is officially over. I am home, as you can see back in the studio. I had a wonderful time this past weekend talking to all of you, looking at all of the cool artifacts and booths, and watching the really cool presentations. Legends, entertainment, but most importantly for this channel, to me, and for, I'm assuming, a lot of you, the parks presentation. And we will talk about Front Tire Land here in a second, but I wanted to talk about how much I actually enjoyed this parks panel first before we get into each of the announcements, because there was a lot and I'm very satisfied with what we got this year. Believe it or not, I'm actually really happy. And we'll start with the original Magic Kingdom in Anaheim, because next year is Disneyland's 70th anniversary and they're doing something new in a beloved attraction to help celebrate that. Because next year we will be seeing the installation of a brand new show in the Main Street Opera House called Walt Disney: A Magical Life. A show that will feature a recreation of Walt Disney's office and the very first ever audio animatronic of Walt Disney himself. And Disney Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro made sure to make it very clear that this would be the most advanced audio animatronic that Imagineering has ever made. And it will be playing throughout the year during the 70th anniversary and then throughout the day in rotation with Mr. Lincoln afterwards. So for all you fellow Lincoln heads out there, don't worry, Abe isn't going anywhere. He's staying in the Opera House. Walt is just joining him now. And you know, when I had heard this rumor back when it was still just a rumor before D23, I feel like I was in the minority where I just didn't really think that a Walt animatronic belonged at Disneyland. It seemed a little weird to me to have an animatronic of your dead founder sitting across the street from his apartment above the firehouse. I almost said under Pirates of the Caribbean. Whew, Disney doesn't want me saying that. But since the announcement and since I've gotten more information and people have talked to me about it, I'm actually feeling kind of good about this change, believe it or not. It's on a turntable, so all Disney has to do is swap the turntable around. You have Lincoln, you have Walt, and then Disney's family signed off on it. They agree with it. Walt Disney Family Museum is helping them with the animatronic and the props in the set. So I think this show could be really, really good. I don't know what he's going to talk about, maybe just his vision for Disneyland, since it is during the Disneyland 70th, but I've come around on this idea, and I am very excited to see A Magical Life when it hits the Main Street Opera House in less than a year. They are working on this animatronic and this show right now, which is why the Opera House is actually closed. It was closed when I was there, which is very, very sad. Also, I just said it's a magical life. It's just a magical life. This isn't a holiday overlay. But onward to the next Disneyland announcement. This one going over to California Adventure. We're getting a new boat ride.
Imagineers drew inspiration for this attraction from classics like The Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. You're gonna see, you'll hear, you'll feel Miguel's journey to the land of the dead, to travel through colorful, expansive scenes. Of course, we're bringing our skeletal cast of characters to life in a big way for the latest in audio animatronic technology. Yeah. Now, work is underway and we'll be breaking ground in 2026 as we create this celebration of everything that we all love about Coco.
So, a couple of things there, if you caught them, that excite me. One, they're breaking ground in 2026. Why is that exciting? They're breaking ground on this ride 2 years from now. That's because I think with them breaking ground so far into the future, 2 years being so far, that this Coco ride is not going to be replacing anything that we currently know at California Adventure. Instead, it's going to be part of Disneyland Forward. And we could potentially see this attraction pop up on the other side of Disneyland Drive as the first steps glimpse into the future of Disneyland, and that's actually very exciting for me. Another thing that you may have caught that also has me excited is Josh said that this ride will be based on the classics like Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion. Now, I'm not exactly sure what he means by that. Pirates and Mansion were original ideas, dark rides, not tied to any existing IPs, but they do have really detailed sets, really advanced illusions and audio animatronics, so maybe that's what he's talking about. Something super immersive, something that isn't a story being told to us that we are participating in as we float past, but a story that's happening around us, an environmental ride. And oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm so excited that we don't have to save the day. It sort of backfired. Us as guests being part of the story in Tiana's Bayou Adventure that doesn't really exist sort of took the ride down a couple notches from where it could be. And watching these events unfold around us for us to see and not for us to save anybody or for anything to go wrong, that sounds amazing to me. I love these kinds of attractions. Please, 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 just be environmental storytelling. Navi River Journey, for all the hate that it gets, and you know, it is a very short ride with very weird waterfalls, but it is also sort of in this category where we don't have to save the day, we're just experiencing the nature and the scenery around us, which I love. So if Coco can take the physical sets, the lack of screens, the great animatronics, and the high capacity boat rides, and maybe a couple drops of Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion, it is quickly going to become my new favorite ride at California Adventure by a long shot. And last but not least, we got more info on the Avatar expansion coming to the Disneyland Resort, now confirmed to be a part of California Adventure. And this one, I think, is not going to be part of Disneyland Forward, but instead replacing the Hollywood backlot and going a bit into the current Eastern Gateway.
It's coming to Disney California.
For our new destination, we're inspired by the second movie, The Way of Water, as well as the upcoming Fire and Ash, and future Avatar films. And it will be at a scale and at a level that is worthy of these epic stories. One thing I'm particularly looking forward to is an innovative new attraction that will invite our guests to take the adventure of a lifetime as we join an excursion in search of majestic natural wonders that can only be found on Pandora.
Now, I hate to interrupt her here, but the innovative new attraction that we see her talking about was actually teased in the previous piece of concept art that we got before D23 that is widely speculated, and come on, let's be honest, it's going to be this. The boat ride system from Pirates of the Caribbean Battle for the Sunken Treasure over at Shanghai Disneyland. Is it innovative? Yeah. Is it new? Not quite, but it is innovative, so I will give them that. And honestly, it kind of looks awesome. I'm a little sad. It seems we're not getting a version of Flight of Passage in Disneyland, which is fine. I do think there should be some parity between parks. Some parks should have things that others don't, and I get that. Flight of Passage is just so dang good, though. Now, we did not get an opening date for this, and we didn't even get a groundbreaking date, but we do know that it is under active development. Everything we talk about in today's video is under active development, so I'm assuming it will be done by probably 2032, 2042 if we're lucky. And of course, we finally got more information on changes coming to Avengers Campus at California Adventure. We got a name for the new e-ticket ride, Avengers Infinity Defense. We also got the announcement that Avengers Campus will be receiving a fourth attraction, Mission Breakout, Web Slingers, Infinity Defense, and what honestly, for some reason, I'm most excited about, Stark Flight Lab. Now we'll start with Infinity Defense because we actually didn't get a whole lot of new info. We just got the fact that it will be a ride, and here's the ride vehicle, and we also got info that it will contain portals that'll help us slip between dimensions throughout the multiverse. And that's it. That's about it. All of that aside, the entrance is looking good, but off to the right-hand side of the Infinity Defense entrance, you will find the Stark Flight Lab. A very much needed hit of kinetic energy to this currently very static land. I mean, look at these guys move around. This is absolutely great. And I think that Disney including a fourth attraction, and not just a third in the form of Avengers Infinity Defense, goes a long way of showing that Disney wants to make Avengers Campus a fully fleshed out land, with things for everybody to do. People of all ages, web slingers, Stark Flight Labs, I almost keep calling it Flight Force, that's the one in Paris. Avengers Campus is going to have 4 attractions on offer, and if it just gets a little bit more shade and maybe some sort of way to move people around without them having to walk, if you know, you know, I think Avengers Campus could be one of the best lands in California adventure. When it opened, it was sort of lackluster. Mission Breakout was already operating, and Web Slingers let a few people down. Not me though, I think it's better than Toy Story. But you add 2 more rides, you add some shade, maybe you add a new restaurant, and you have yourself a fully fleshed out land, and I think Avengers Campus is going to be a force to be reckoned with when these 2 are open. I've been saying for a long time that really the only thing that's keeping Avengers Campus from being a great land is the lack of kinetic energy and smaller attractions, those sort of people eaters that people enjoy to do, you know, in between these big e-tickets. And I think Stark Flight Labs and Web Slingers are going to be those space fillers between Mission Breakout and Infinity Defense. But just you all wait, okay? Soon Avengers Campus will be the place to be, and you'll all be eating your words, and you'll all agree with me that it's great. Maybe. Potentially. But that is all that was announced for the Disneyland Resort. We're going to move now to Walt Disney World. And we'll start with this little guy right here, this beauty. Similar to how the Africa area of Disney's Animal Kingdom takes place within the village of Harambe, Tropical America's story will be set within the town of Pueblo Esperanza, or Village of Hope.
Set to begin this fall as we transform Dinoland USA into the Tropical Americas. This work's going to begin in phases, making sure that you still have a chance to experience dinosaur one more time.
Well, okay, so when you walk over from Discovery Island, you'll enter a new town we're creating called Pueblo Esperanza, which means Village of Hope. You'll also find a big hacienda. And in there, we're going to reflect the food and culture of the region. And I cannot wait to try some of that. Now wait, there's more. In a horse stable, one Esperanza resident, a woodcarver, has created a carousel featuring his favorite animals from Disney stories. I'm telling you, these pieces are absolutely gorgeous. And if you stop by our Imagineering Pavilion tomorrow, in one of our reveal rooms at the Convention Center, we have the first one we made on display. Go see that.
The Indiana Jones attraction being a brand new original idea, like we were all talking about before the convention, is genius to me, and it looks like, based on this concept art, that Indy is going to be hunting the legendary Mesoamerican Quetzalcoatl, or plumed serpent, winged serpent, which I think is amazing considering, you know, Indy and serpents, they don't really go together. It's genius. It's so good. It's so good. And even though construction is beginning very soon this fall, and it is almost September, Joshie D said that the land will be closing in phases to give everyone a chance to ride Dinosaur one last time. And I honestly think this is the best case scenario, maybe the second best case scenario, the best case scenario being completely redoing Dinosaur and bringing up to modern standards, but this is probably very, very close to that. I'm really satisfied with this, and I am most excited to see what a more modern version of the Indiana Jones adventure could be. More modern than Disneyland, more modern than Tokyo, it's gonna be great. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention Encanto, which is getting its own ride also in the Tropical Americas land area of the park. You can see here they had a really cool little model of the casita in the Imagineering Pavilion. Apparently, this casita will come alive on the inside and the outside, so the facade is going to have a lot of, I would hope, kinetic energy, sight gags, and different things happening with like the shutters and the stairs and the chimneys. I think it's going to look really, really cool. As for, in their words, the inside of the house coming alive, it immediately sparked, in my brain at least, Mystic Manor from Hong Kong. I think that this is going to be a very, very similar ride to Mystic Manor, if not a like track clone. It'll have the same layout, it'll have the same ride vehicle, except everything is going to look different, be themed to Encanto, and I would be honestly really satisfied with that too. I'm actually really excited for Tropical Americas. I didn't see anything about about this retheme that I disliked. I mean, I do think it's interesting that the Encanto attraction is set on the day where Antonio gets his special gift, which is, you know, the worst day of Mirabel's life. But we're not going to think about that, okay? Don't think about Mirabel. We're here to celebrate Antonio, right, guys? We're just as bad as the Madrigals. In all seriousness, though, I would put money down on this being a trackless dark ride in the vein of Mystic Manor. You can check my work when this opens up, I believe, in 3 years, 2027, which is nice and quick. Disney, I applaud you for that, my friends. Tron, what took you so long? We're getting 2 new rides. 3 if you count the carousel, which some do, including me. We got new information regarding shows at Walt Disney World. We love a good show here at Offhand Disney Ltd. First, they announced that Disney Starlight is a new nighttime parade coming to the Magic Kingdom, and it's not replacing, at least not right now. It could be, they could announce this later on down the road. It's not going to replace Festival of Fantasy. You'll have the 2 parades, either that or Festival of Fantasy is going away, which I'd be fine with. I love a nighttime parade, and if it's anything like Paint the Night, ooh, those Disneyland boys, they're gonna be jealous. And of course we have Zootopia replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug underneath the Tree of Life at Animal Kingdom. Now, that's fine. I'm not a massive Zootopia fan. It's alright. I don't know if it belongs in Animal Kingdom, but if they are going to give it its own show, underneath the Tree of Life is a great place to put it. I do have one stipulation though, Disney. You have to make it absolutely terrifying. Okay, in the long tradition of the show that's been underneath the Tree of Life, It's Tough to Be a Bug is scary. The spiders, the bugs poking your butt. It is an intense show. So the Zootopia show that's replacing it has to match that energy. It needs to make children cry. It has to make adults uncomfortable. That is my one stipulation for replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug. If that can be met, then I will sign off on it with my Offhand Disney Ltd. seal of approval. New Test Track 3.0 is opening up in 2025, so that's next year, pretty quick. That's it. We actually did not get anything new on Test Track 3.0, which I was kind of looking forward to, but that's okay. We are going to talk about Hollywood Studios now, and a little bit of controversy that has arisen since the parks panel.
Now, in this new land, humans have been invited to visit Monstropolis, and they need our laughter and power in the city. As part of this new Monsters experience, you're going to get to tour the Laugh Factory. I don't know about all of you guys, but the first time I saw Monsters Inc., all I wanted to do was zoom through the door wall like Mike and Sully, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you could tell from the applause, but this announcement was epic. It was so awesome seeing them finally, at long last, confirm the rumored Monsters, Inc. door coaster, and it's coming to Hollywood Studios, and it's the first ever suspended coaster Disney has ever built. This was amazing. I am so happy that we are getting Monstropolis at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It looks to be one of the best lands Disney has ever built, at least at that park. Problem. Where's it going, Disney? Where are you going to put Monsters, Inc.? Because I can think of one really, really great place to put Monsters, Inc. at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I can think of another absolutely terrible, horrible place to put Monsters, Inc. at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Okay? Let's talk about this for a second. Let's keep our cool, and let's discuss the location, the future potential location of Monstropolis at Hollywood Studios. Stay cool. Stay cool. It's just a theme park. Now, I wouldn't be super incredibly worried about where this land is going if Disney hadn't made another announcement toward the end of the presentation, but hold on for that. But they did make that very special announcement after we had all gone home. So part of me worries, part of me fears. Okay, option 1. Monsters, Inc. Monstropolis could go in the Animation Courtyard, where the Animation Courtyard currently is, I should say. A completely empty, unused, untrafficked corner of the park that would be a perfect fit for a land with maybe one E-ticket, one C or D ticket. I think that would be great. It'd add a lot of life and a lot of value to the front half of the park, whereas nowadays you sort of have to go further toward the back to Toy Story or Star Wars to get to the well-themed environments. the animation courtyard is a wonderful spot for Monstropolis, and if they confirm that Monstropolis will replace the Launch Bay and the Little Mermaid and Disney Junior, I would be okay with that. It would kind of hurt to lose Disney Junior. I haven't been in there for decades, but man, when I was 2 years old, that was my jam. Back when it was Bear in the Big Blue House. Any of you remember that? God, that show was great. The other potential location for Monstropolis at Hollywood Studios just so happens to be replacing Muppet Vision 3D, Grand Avenue, and Muppets Courtyard, and that, my friends, is the horrible, dark timeline that I am hoping we are not a part of right now, because if Muppet Vision is replaced, this isn't me just talking as a Muppets fan, although I am a Muppets fan, this is me talking about someone who appreciates filmmaking. If Muppet Vision 3D were to be removed from the Disney parks, it's already sort of going away, it's only at Disney's Hollywood Studios, that would be a travesty. Now, this isn't me whining about losing, the Tower of Terror to Mission Breakout at California Adventure or retheming Dinosaur to Indiana Jones. This is about preserving Jim Henson's last work with the Muppets, one of the best Muppet films ever put to camera, and not just a piece of filmmaking history, but also a piece of animation history with Waldo, and a piece of theme park history with the 4D effects, and the Muppet animatronics and live performers incorporated into the show. Muppet Vision 3D is so much more than just a film. Take out Grand Avenue if you want. Remove Pizza Rizzo. Fine. Do what you gotta do. Muppet Vision needs to live on. Now, allegedly, this is all just rumor and speculation based on people from the inside who have talked to people on the outside. Disney has not announced a location for Monstropolis as of yet because they just didn't know where to put it. The internal resistance at Imagineering for replacing Muppet Vision has now sort of gone external, and if you go anywhere online and look for Muppets anything, odds are you're gonna find a lot of responses and a lot of posts about saving Muppet Vision 3D. And as far as the rumors say, Disney still hasn't decided where to put Monstropolis. So, friends, I'm not saying harass anybody, but if we make our voices known, let Disney know. Let Imagineers know, if you know any Imagineers. Let it be heard online, in person, at the parks. Show your love for Muppet Vision 3D. Not just once or twice, so it, gets confirmed that Monstropolis is going in the courtyard, but every time you go to MGM Studios, it is a ride. I call it MGM Studios. Oh no. It is a show that cannot and will not ever be replicated by anybody, and it needs to be preserved. Not just put onto Disney Plus to rot away for all of eternity until either the internet dies or Disney Plus gets shut down or someone decides to take it off. Muppet Vision needs to be seen the way it was meant to be seen. And instead of downsizing Muppet Visions like they've been doing, it used to be at California Adventure, every park, every movie-themed park should have a Muppet Vision. Hollywood Studios, California Adventure, Disney Adventure World, all of these parks need a Muppet Vision. Now, I realize I'm a grown man rallying people against the loss of a 3D film. I also realize that I am the person who made this chart right here that has proven to be right time and time again. However, I do think this scenario is a little bit different in that I think Monstropolis, the Monsters Inc. land, looks really, really good. I think the door suspended coaster looks great. I think the land around it looks hyper immersive. You can meet Mike and Sully, they're walking around. I hope I can grab some monster sushi. It looks like a great time. I'm really, really excited. I'm not saying that Monstropolis is going to be bad. I'm saying that it really, really should not replace Muppet Vision 3D. Can you kind of see the difference there? But oh my friends, there is one more thing, well actually two more things that we need to talk about. But for that, we're going to have to travel via Disney bus probably to the Magic Kingdom, where we can finally discuss what in the world is beyond Big Thunder Mountain. They finally revealed to us what would be beyond Big Thunder Mountain, and it looks incredible. With a few caveats, of course. First, we're going to talk about the big one, the huge expansion that is coming to the Magic Kingdom beyond Big Thunder Mountain, and that is Villain's Land. Villain's Kingdom, Villain's Lair, probably not Villain's Grove, that's at California Adventure. We're getting an entire land themed around the worst of the worst when it comes to Disney characters, but also the best of the best because villains are cool. Now, looking at this concept art, you can see that it is very obviously vague. Although it is in active development, this is happening, this is not blue sky, it is purposefully vague because I think that this project is farther out than we would think. Maybe like a 2030, 2029 opening date, maybe even further, I hate to say. But I do think there are ideas conveyed here that will be part of the final land, like the Maleficent roller coaster. You can see it here, and you can also see it here. You're going underwater somehow. That's pretty cool. And the centerpiece of the land being Maleficent's castle from Sleeping Beauty, I think all of that is basically locked in. That is going to happen. It's just the layout they haven't really finalized yet. Now, I have no notes about Villain's Land. I think it's great. I think you need to connect that end of Frontierland to something, preferably back around to the Haunted Mansion, and what could better serve as a transition from Frontierland to the Haunted Mansion than a mountainous, scary, rocky, craggy villains area. It works so well. The rivers obviously aren't going to be there anymore, but that's the idea. I say this will be far, far in the future, but land clearing and surveying and permits have already been filed back beyond Big Thunder Mountain, so who knows, we might see this sooner rather than later, but just based on how vague this concept art is, I do think it will be later rather than sooner. But yeah, as I said, no notes, this looks awesome. It will increase capacity for the Magic Kingdom and the size of Magic Kingdom by like 10, 15, I hesitate to say 20%, and that's a really big increase considering the Magic Kingdom is the most visited theme park in the world. That's true. And at this point, I'm dying. I'd do anything for more attractions and more capacity at the Magic Kingdom. Almost anything. Now, if you've been following along, you know that there is one major announcement that was talked about at the park's presentation that I haven't mentioned yet. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to open the box. No, snap out of it. You can't open the box. Remember the last time you dared to creak that box open? Disney broke your heart. They don't deserve to have the box. The rivers of America are going to be filled in. There's no reason to open the box now. I know they're filling in the rivers of America, but they're building a whole new Cars Land and it looks really good. But is that really what we hope and dream for? On the other hand, you're right. It might be time. It might be time.